This is the Volkswagen ID.4. It's Volkswagen's latest entry into the EV market as part of their ID lineup of cars. Fortunately, Volkswagen did a little test drive event here in Columbus, so I was able to see the car up close, and here are my first impressions as a Tesla owner. The ID.4 is definitely more of a crossover SUV, so it's going to be competing with the Model Y more than the Model 3 that I drive, but it's very similar sized on the inside to the Model Y and the Mach-E I drove a couple months ago. Plenty of cargo room all over, and I can actually fit in the back seat pretty comfortably, which is sometimes a struggle in smaller cars being 6'4". When I hopped inside to drive the car, I was immediately impressed by the interior quality. Volkswagen definitely nailed the interior here in terms of making it feel like a luxury car. Everything just looks and feels very premium. This is the first edition trim, so it does have those leather seats, which I think adds to that interior quality. And the lower trims do have nice looking interiors as well, but they do have the cloth seats. Coming from a Model 3, there are also a lot more manual controls in this ID.4. They also use a lot of capacitive buttons and sliders that are kind of faux manual controls, which I haven't seen before. So adjusting things like volume or cabin temperature, you slide your finger across this area. It's kind of nice that you have a physical area to touch and adjust those things, but you don't have any feedback like a traditional manual control, so I'm not sure how much better it is than just a normal touchscreen. When it came time to put this car in drive, this was easily the weirdest gear shifter I have ever seen. It's like a giant paddle on the right side of your dashboard display, so you can push forward to drive and push forward again to put it in regen mode, and then pulling back puts it in reverse. Really odd design in my opinion. It just feels way too large, but it is very tactile, so it's pretty hard to screw up which gear you want to put it in. Once we were out on the road, I realized how smooth this ride was. Driving was extremely comfortable, and I noticed that right away. Just like any other EV, there are no gear shifts or anything, and the suspension combines to make this really comfortable driving experience. It also felt a little bit quieter than my Model 3, so overall the ride was just incredibly comfortable. However, even though it's comfortable, performance doesn't quite stack up with my all-wheel drive Model 3. That low-end torque is definitely there and can get you up to speed just as fast as some other EVs, but that punch that I feel when I floor it in my Model 3 just really wasn't there in the ID.4. Another big difference I noticed was regen mode. So in my Model 3, I can essentially do one pedal driving. If I lift off of the accelerator, the car pretty much comes to a complete stop, which I prefer in EVs. I like that one pedal driving. However, in the ID.4, even on regen mode, it coasts a majority of the time. You still have to use your brake to bring the car to a complete stop. And it also creeps like traditional cars at a standstill. So if you're just sitting there stopped and you let off the brake, the car will creep forward a little bit. Coming from an EV myself and the way my Model 3 is set up, I wasn't a huge fan of that, but it will definitely feel comfortable and be a familiar driving experience if you're coming from a combustion car. Handling felt really good as well. This car has an extremely tight turn radius, so maneuvering around parking lots and tight corners is a breeze. So overall, I seriously enjoyed the car. Definitely something to consider if you're looking for a comfortable crossover luxury SUV. And if you've driven the ID.4, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. I really only had about 15 to 20 minutes with the car, so wasn't able to really take it all in completely. These are just my first impressions. But if you do want to see some more in-depth coverage of the ID.4, my friend Brandon over at Everyday EV actually just purchased an ID.4, so he's going to have a ton of content on that, so I'll have his channel linked down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.